Hello there, Kelechi Chibuzo here. We are continuing our 40 days of faith journey. I'm sure that you have enjoyed the sessions that you have already watched. If you are just joining us, please like and subscribe to this channel so that when new videos come up, you can be aware of it. I really believe that this will be a blessing to you as we get along. And today, we would like to look at something that's quite important to me. The journey of temptations and sin. Following my encounter with Jesus Christ, I think that a lot of people struggle with this, and I'd like to also share some of my own struggles. I was a teenager, you remember, and I had just given my life to Christ. And giving my life to Christ at a time when my emotions were growing and developing, and things were happening all at the same time. Now, but that's not for, this doesn't happen to just young people. It's a natural thing with all humans. And so I had given my life to Christ. I felt this deep sense of joy, and I found myself walking in the ways of God. But then as I began this journey, I also realized that temptations were very abundant. I began to, experience temptation. I knew that God had forgiven my sins. I knew that my heart was new, and the desire to walk in God's way was strong, was very strong. But despite that strong desire, I still found that from time to time, I found myself doing things that were inconsistent with the faith I was professing. So all kinds of things. And when those things would happen, some of my classmates would say, "Hey, see you, born again. See you, born again." Those things were happening. Now, lust was trying to get a hold on my mind. It was a very strong one. It was a very strong one. And then temptations to sexual sin were there also. I mean, it's natural from lust to temptations to sexual sin. I remember one incident. I had visited someone who was a teacher in an all-girls school, and some of the girls in the school were my friends. Now, I'm not sure that was permissible, but one of the girls came visiting. I think it was on a weekend, on a Saturday. So she came visiting, and we just talked. We just sat down and talked. I mean, nothing happening. And then, as we talked, suddenly you began to realize, I began to realize that there's this, feeling, this stifling feeling around me, which, of course, one would eventually realize was natural when a boy meets a girl. That's chemistry. And we kept sitting down there and just kept talking. At a point, I got up and lay. There was a bed in the room. I got up and lay on the bed, and after a while, she also got up and sat on the bed, and we just kept talking until another teacher in the school came by and said to her, "What are you doing here? You are not supposed to be here. Get back to your hostel." As I think about that incident, I realized that, I didn't mean any harm. I didn't want to do anything. But I realized that if that teacher had not shown up that day, maybe would have done something stupid. Something would have regretted for a long time to come. So those kind of things were happening, struggles against masturbation, and when those things happened, you felt very miserable, very bad, shame. They say strong sense of shame attended those kind of things. So I had all those experiences growing up as a young believer. The fact that I never slept with any girl all those years. By the way, as young as I was when I gave my life to Christ, I had started sexual experimentation before I gave my life to Christ. Yes, even as young as I was, I had started sexual experimentation. So, but the fact that after I gave my life to Christ, I never had sexual carnal knowledge of any woman until the day my wife and I got wedded. It's not as a result of the fact that I was very... It was just that God's grace kept me. God's grace and probably the presence of people and other influences around my life and certain disciplines that one began to learn eventually. So these things happen. But I'm also here today to say that purity is possible for a child of God. Purity is possible. It's possible to walk in God's will and God's way, and we don't need to keep falling into sin and rising up. I was going to learn this. I would learn this as I grew as a believer, that hey, I can live above this. I can live above lust. I can master sexual sin, and it doesn't have to master me. I can live above. For a young boy, I can live above masturbation. I learned those things. Now, why am I saying all this? I'm saying all this to first encourage someone who is going through those motions, who is, struggling with those feelings. I'd like to encourage you that first, the fact that those things show up doesn't mean you are not a child of God, or that the profession you have made of Christ is not real. No, not at all. Not at all. You are saved. You are saved, all right? And when you get saved, one of the things that happens is that the devil will tempt you to sin. That's his lifestyle, that's his nature. So he will tempt you. And so I just want to encourage you that keep going. The other thing I'd like to say is, now that you are saved, don't put yourself in compromising situations. If you take stupid steps, you would fall into sin. So don't put yourself in compromising situations. They are just places, they are just things that you don't need to be involved in. Regarding sexual sin in particular, the Bible doesn't say you should resist sexual temptation. It says you should resist the devil. But when it came to sexual temptation, it says flee. Flee is to run as if someone is pursuing you to harm you. So don't put yourself in compromising situations. And then let me speak to parents and older people. When young people give their lives to Christ around you, don't give them undue liberties. They are born again, you trust them, that's true, but still understand that they are young people and certain things are developing in their lives. So continue to provide guidance, continue to provide boundaries for their lives to enable their faith to grow. Don't think that, because they are born again, they won't do anything. They don't want to. They may not plan to. But when they find themselves in wrong situations, things will happen. So don't give them trust that they have not yet earned. Allow them to grow and earn trust, and then you can increase their liberties as they demonstrate responsibility in line with their faith. But please, don't attack them and say, because you did this, you are not serious, your faith is not genuine. That's not true. So that will be all for today. Thank you. See you again tomorrow.
By faith and not by sight.